So yesterday I texted both of my daughters to see how they were feeling about the election results. They're both away in college, but this is a check-in I think we should all be having with our sons and daughters, regardless of how we feel about the election results. I was very happy with the responses from them. They're both very busy, internships, classes, track practices, and etc., but they've also been very engaged in this entire election process, like many of us. Or so we thought. Because this brought me to another thought. So remember all the talk before the election about all of the new voters and how this was going to be the highest voter turnout ever. I fell for that narrative, and I'm sure many of you did as well. So what happened? The prediction was that the winner of this election would get 90 to 100 million votes. Remember the talk about the record number of mail-in ballots that were requested? Record numbers of people voting early? So what happened? I mean, not only did the winner not get 90 to 100 million votes, both got less from their party than their candidate did in 2020. The Democrats turned out 15 million less people. What happened to those 15 million voters? 81 million in 2020 down to 66 million in 2024? What happened? We can talk about Latino men voting for Trump in 2024 compared to 2020. We can talk about white women who still supported Donald Trump overwhelmingly even after the overturning of Roe v. Wade. There is definitely a time and a place for that conversation. But have we talked about Democrats just not showing up? Had half of that 15 million shown up, we would be saying, Madam President Kamala Harris. So moving forward, my plea is to the Democratic Party to appeal to the 66 million, but find out what made 15 million people stay home. I have a guess, but I think I'm going to save that for another video on another day, as I realize a lot of you guys are exhausted with this topic. However, if Democrats are going to take back seats in the House and Senate in 2026, we need to start today asking ourselves why 15 million Democrats who voted in 2020 stayed home in 2024. And it's not like there weren't people out there sounding the alarm.
I think there's a disconnect in terms of the metrics in which sometimes the party uses as the metrics of success and how people see success. So while there is a low unemployment rate, there's a lot of economic anxiety among Black voters that I'm talking to that are interested in literally what does this mean economically in this kind of environment where they're seeing the rise of racism, when they're seeing the destruction of affirmative action and those kind of programs, that leads a certain level of uncertainty of what our economic future is.
Is there any way that those voters would either vote for the Republican, or is the bigger danger they stay home?
You know, I think the biggest danger is staying home. I think that Black voters are actually more sophisticated than the media likes to give us credit for, that we're very pragmatic voters. And so at the end of the day, will there be a run to Trump? Absolutely not. I think what we'll see is people be so discontented with the process that they're so frustrated that they'll disengage. And so that's the bigger issue. And I think there are three things that we've got to do. One, it has to be more money. You have to make sure that they have a message. And I think I agree with Cornell exactly, that there has to be a message that's tailored directly to certain constituency groups. And that you have to make sure that you're lifting up, you have your messengers who is actually giving the message. When we're looking at television ads, that's not going to get it. That is not where a lot of people in the communities that we're talking to get their news from, or actually get the newest information around what Biden has done. And I think that those are going to be the three things that he's going to have to do going forward to get the bill to support that.
That was in December 2023. So Democrats, this is where your focus should be. Figure out why 15 million people stayed home, and then figure out how to get them to come back and vote. And let's take the House and Senate in 2026, and then the White House in 2028. Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in their heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.